And a very good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into another edition of This Week in Phillies Baseball. I'm your host, James Scores, and with you. And with me, as always, is my group of companions on a very busy day here across the Delaware Valley. Obviously, Phillies closing out their season yesterday, but joining me like they always do, Joey Marks and Austin Hamill, like we always do, joining us as always. Gentlemen, good to see you guys. We do apologize for a little bit of a delay, but we're back to normal now. Hopefully, you guys are doing well on this very important Monday afternoon and the jump start of the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. I am looking forward to Red October, and this is going to be interesting because I think this is a different mentality than it was the last time we had a bye. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I gotta admit, Austin, good to see you, man. How you been?
Doing good, man. Very grateful that the Phillies still finished in the 2 seed coming into the end of the regular season. Even more so with the fact that the Mets did what the Mets did.
Right.
I was as giddy as a schoolgirl all afternoon yesterday, man. It felt so good.
Absolutely.
And just so everyone knows that's watching, you heard it here first that the Mets were going to Met exactly when they thought they had everything in control.
Got that right. So anyways, before we get into our program here today, like we always do, if you are just a member, previous member or a member already, hit that like and subscribe on our likes and on Facebook or social media platforms and everything about that, including on Stream Punk and also Hardcore Sports Network. But like Michael Barkin says, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our fighting Phillies. So, Phillies start out, I guess the Phillies season probably went better than what we expected that the Phillies were going to be like this season to get the first round bye, which was a positive. But overall, this season recap here for the Phillies until we get ready for Red October next week. So I would be sure we'll probably have a show probably later on in the week, depending on the circumstances, especially to get ready for that NLDS. But overall, so my first question to you guys is so how confident are you guys feeling about this Phillies team going into the postseason? Joey, I'll start with you first.
This team has felt a lot better in the last, I'd say, 60 days than it did in the first 60 days. And so for me, I have a lot more confidence knowing that they're striding upward, that they're trending upward in the last 60 days versus last year where it felt like they were kind of coasting in the last 60 days. And that kind of gave me some trepidation, especially with us going against the Mets and them being kind of one of our division rivals. This time, knowing that the Mets aren't there, knowing that the teams that are there are all pretty much teams we can handle. It gives me a lot of confidence to know that we positioned ourselves in the last 60 days to be in this spot, to be in that second hole, to be in that, first round bye. 11 wins to World Series, 11 wins to a parade.
Yep, whatever it takes, like JT said, the topper, right? Austin, how are you feeling about this Phillies series coming up? How confident are you feeling about the NLDS on Saturday?
I'm feeling really good. I mean, the just like Joe had said there, the people the teams that you potentially have to face in that NLDS, you have very good records against. You've played them very well throughout the year. So it's just a matter of keeping that same mentality, keeping the momentum going that you had gathered at the end of the season there. And another thing to echo what you had said, Joe, this team just in the past 60 days alone has been way better than teams that we've seen over the past couple of years. They've been very strong. They've been finishing games strong. They play very hard every single game. The pitching has been phenomenal. They're checking every box coming into the postseason of a capable team that could make a very strong case for a World Series contender.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I think the one thing I'm confident about is that going into this season, I was expecting probably something a little bit looser than it was this time around because I was thinking, okay, the Phillies, how are they going to feel with the whole circumstance with the leadoff position with Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber, and also like even Bryson Stout once in a while too about him being in the leadoff spot. But in the last handful of months, probably after the All-Star break, I think they found their footing a lot after. I would say probably they set the tone probably after that Jimmy Rollins Wall of Fame, and then after J-Roll came in and gave them a little bit of boost, it's like okay, now it's like, how can we get to that pinnacle now of success, like that 2008 to 2011 Phillies team, like they had, and those like 5 years of NLDS and not NLD winning National League championships, but yeah, I mean, I think they're in the right spot. I think yeah, that's true too. My dad brings up a point here. My dad Joe scores this. Believe it or not, Bader's energy propelling them right now shows them a lot of poise too. I gotta say right now, he became a jubilation along with Johan Duran in the bullpen. So I gotta say that's probably one of the reasons why the Phillies are where they're at right now with this first round bye too.
Despite all that, you got to think about losing one of your better pitchers in Zach Wheeler
Yeah.
at such a crucial time in the year. I've said this to you before, James. It's like that this team had every excuse this year between the Turner injury and the Wheeler and just other extenuating circumstances. This team had every reason to write in an excuse of why they weren't successful.
Yeah.
And despite all that, they just overcame all of those obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
More so to the degree of having a guy like Harrison Bader and Johan Duran almost be so complementary to what was already here, the
Mm-hmm.
depth, the talent that was already here.
Yeah, in a way, it was like a tone setter, like to say the least, for the Phillies to set the tone about what they're going to look like. I mean, honestly, when I first, like, I talked about this many times with you guys about how I was like disappointed that Dabrowski didn't make any key moves in the off, not in the off, well, obviously in the off season, but even more so in the trade deadline. And I guess like Harrison Bader, ever since coming here, became a better player. I think he became more of a like a veteran presence in the locker room as well as he did with like the teams he had. But the reason why I thought Bader didn't fit in was because all the when he was a journeyman, like he's like this, then like he's been like. I guess he was like been around the league, and I'm thinking, okay, what's he going to do here to set the tone? And he did a great job. I thought that's probably the presence of him, and also Johan Duran. Same thing with him too, especially with that entrance, and also getting the fans like really excited for that ninth inning now. So it's going to be something to keep a close eye on too. And I mean, especially too, maybe winning a championship what the Eagles did back in February, probably said, okay, the Eagles won it twice. Like, how can we get there now? And I think that's probably was the tone setter of all the season, and especially to this point right now.
I gotta wonder. We got Johan Duran, and you got to think like, look at what happened Saturday with Mick Abel. Like, and I wish Mick Abel all the luck in the world, but that's the proof that that trade worked out for both sides.
Yeah,
because Mick Abel's going to be a good pitcher for a very long time for the Twins, and Johan Duran's going to be under our club control for a couple years too. So both teams made out in the end of that. I also have to give kudos to Dave Dombrowski when we talk about the last 60 days, bringing guys like David Robertson and, Walker Buehler. Like, these are guys that have been around the block, but also have been on teams and other clubs that have been winning for a while. So they have playoff experience. And so Dave Dombrowski understood, I can't go get a guy that necessarily doesn't have those playoff credentials, because we're going to need those people come October. And now we're going to see how those guys really pay dividends. The Durans, the Baders, the Robertsons, the Buellers. We're going to see how they pay dividends come October.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, Joe, because you think about it with the Phillies, is just that, especially kind of reminds me, my dad makes a very good point here about the Super Bowl championship Eagles team back in 2017 when they were across the street after losing their key components of their team, like their franchise quarterback and also their linebacker and et cetera, and eventually won the Super Bowl with those guys stepping up in the process too. And it's kind of like the same thing they have with this Phillies team. Like, you lose your starting pitcher and your starting stud in Zach Wheeler. You lost Bryce Harper for here and there. You lost Trey Turner for a little bit. Obviously, you lost a couple key opponents to your team, and the way they stepped up and made it easily like the minor moves, like even like you even brought up, is like something that obviously I didn't expect was going to happen, but at the same time too, I thought it was a very. I think the one thing Dabrowski was trying to do was trying to tell us to stay patient with these guys, and unfortunately, Dabrowski pulled a rabbit out of his head, and with Bader and also Duran, and even you said it best though, Joe. I think with Mick Abel becoming a very good player in the process, that he's going to be good down the road when he goes to Minnesota. So I'm guessing he wasn't going to get that start here, but at the same time too, I think yesterday there was another Philly closing out the Mets. Yesterday was Tyler Phillips, the former Philly prospect that was on this Phillies team, closed out the Mets yesterday. So it was pretty cool to see that along the way too. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be really exciting to see what they'll look like next week, especially let alone against the Dodgers and let alone whoever they face, either the Reds or the Dodgers. But whoever they're facing, it's going to be a tall test for them, especially when they come into Citizens Bank, especially for Red October next week.
Yeah, and spinning back onto what you guys were saying about the injuries that were incurred in the second half on the Phillies end. Not just in the second half, but even in the beginning of the season, not having Ranger Suarez to start the year, losing Aaron Nola for the chunk of time that you lost him, even though he hasn't really found himself just yet, but having to replace like key spots in your starting rotation to be able to sort of pick up the weight that was left behind from them, not being available during the early half of the year, and putting yourself in a position coming into the All-Star break to be considering only small moves, get a closer, get an extra center fielder, and then that's it. And then be able to move forward in the year and have what you had happen to Zach Wheeler, have him, be on the shelf for the rest of the season, possibly even longer than that, and be able to have the guys that are behind him in the rotation step up. Taijuan Walker,
right?
The amount of times that we would bemoan having to see Taijuan Walker take the hill. I mean, granted, 5-8 record, not incredible, but an ERA just barely over 4 for the year. Like
it's pretty incredible.
And then you look at the great seasons you had from your top 3 guys in Sanchez, Suarez, Luzardo, all 3 of them over 14 wins this year. Like all these guys stepped up and did exactly what they needed to do. Bader came in, saw that, and did the exact same thing on the offensive end of the game. His defense had been incredible. The first week and a half that he was here, he robbed 2 home runs.
Yeah,
one of them during that Texas series, which was a highlight reel robbery. Like, even though at the start his bat wasn't creating, his defense was picking up where his bat wasn't being able to. So like, these are guys that are all just stepping into positions and running with the opportunity and having dominant years. Bader's stats just for the Phillies this year, he batted over 300 with Philadelphia. So like, that Trey Turner winning the batting title, finishing with the highest batting average in the NL, finishing with a 304, I believe it was. The lowest since I think it was Carl Yastrzemski in like the 70s, winning it with a 303 for the Red Sox back then. Like, everything was just clicking perfectly for this Phillies team. You in the tail end of the year here, you had Turner and Bohm both go out. Edmundo Sosa went down, comes back his first game back. He has a 3 home run game. Like, these guys understand that they have positions they're being put into to see themselves succeed, and they are taking those opportunities and running with them every single day. Saturday is going to come, and it's going to be business as usual for Philadelphia. Be it LA, Cincinnati, hell, you could even tell the Mets to come around right now, honestly, I think.
Sure, yeah.
And we would handle every single one of them. We're just completely capable and ready to handle any opponent that's being thrown at us. And this just like you were saying, the vibe about this team this year is different and in a great way. And I cannot wait for the 4th of October to get here.
Yeah.
So we can start seeing playoff Phillies baseball.
Yeah, man. I always say it too. Like, this is the best time of the year to be a Philly sports fan. Like, I always talk about that more than anything, because it is. Because you think about it, the Phillies are playing in Red October, and you always want to see them playing in Red October. Then you got the Flyers coming up soon, and the Eagles are in their mix of their football season, and they're playing the best football right now too. In the same time too.
Well, I will give you guys perspective, because I've actually done the math here. Because I have to. I have a daughter and a family and whatnot. So I have to like schedule when I watch certain sports. So because my daughter will come in and be like, "Hey, Daddy, put Paw Patrol on and whatnot." And
I got you.
but so here's the thing. So Saturday you have game one NLDS. Sunday 1 o'clock you have the Eagles game. Monday you have game two NLDS. Tuesday's your only day off. Wednesday you have game three of the NLDS. Thursday you have the Eagles
Yeah. Mind
again.
you too, the Flyers open their season I think on Wednesday, or is it Thursday?
Yeah. So I
It's gonna be
mean,
it's gonna be crazy, man.
bear in mind this coming week to week and a half, 2 weeks is going to be insane
Lit.
when it
It's gonna be
comes to
insane, man.
Philly sports
Yeah.
because you're going to have so much to watch, so much to keep a track on. I literally said to my wife, I'm like, I'm going to be living in the man cave for about a week and a half. My daughter's birthday is October 10th. I'll come up for air then because that's the way it seems like it's going right now.
Well, hopefully on October the 10th, we're one step closer to going to the NLCS.
Exactly. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yes.
So, yeah. You know what's crazy too? I remember in 2022 how excited I was about Red October coming back here, and that first game only took the first game against the Braves, and Rhys Hoskins hitting that home run was like, "Yep, Red October's back, and it's resurrected one more." It's like it was unbelievable, man.
Well, it's weird because like I remember in 2008 that run.
Yeah,
I can even remember in 2007 when in CBP that place was loud. It for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the speakers on the television or whatever, but for whatever reason, in 2022, it just felt louder.
yeah,
Like
it did.
it felt like people were walking into that stadium and going, "What in the hell?" And I
Yeah,
think that's why Kyle Schwarber, in his kindness quote, was saying those crazy animals because he knows when opposing players come into this stadium in Red October, they know it's different.
it's crazy too because you think about it. I mean, like you talk about the obviously last week. Let's go back to last week with that block punt by Jordan Davis to win the game for the Eagles, right? And then I think Rhea Hughes put it up on WIP the next day, said like it almost caused an earthquake, like
Oh
you
yeah,
can feel the stadium shake. That's how
Yeah.
I felt about it in 2022 when Rhys Hoskins hit that home run and hear that. I mean, it was just the thing about it too was that that's the one thing that was missing for the last 11 years because the Phillies were not to the capable of what they were, and it kind of made me remind me of like, yeah, I want that. I want to bring that fire back. You know, obviously, last year was a little bit. I mean, it was similar to 2022, but like 2022, like you said, Joe, was even like louder because
Mhm.
like especially for the expectations, probably it was because they were like desperate. Like the Phillies fans were desperately looking to try to get that edge, especially to try to get back to the postseason after a long drought like it was like in 2022. And the last time they did it was in 2011. So we're talking almost like 11 years to the day
Yeah.
when they lost to the Cardinals in that 1-0 game. And we thought we never going to come back. And then
Mhm.
the next year, they come back. And, I mean, not the next year, the next decade, rather, they come back. And it feels like they never even left.
And ironically enough, the first team we face in 2022
Was the
in the
Braves.
wild card is the is the St. Louis
St.
Louis
Louis.
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
It's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
first
So
Aura
it's
game
very
in that series.
sometimes things go full circle.
yeah.
And that's kind of one of the reasons, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's kind of one of the reasons why I want the Yankees in the World Series.
Mm,
I want redemption from '09. I want it to come full circle. And we have some unfinished business, not just from this core four of this core of this team, but what if this team could redeem some of the demons from the '08 team?
mm,
And so that's an interesting perspective because we talk about the legacy of what this team is going to have
yeah.
going forward. And they've still yet to prove it. Look, there's still 11 wins to get. They've still a lot to prove, but they have put themselves in one hell of a position. And it's good to know that Philly comes out and represents, regardless if it's an inter squad game. Over 20,000 people will be in attendance on Wednesday for an
That's
inter
incredible.
squad game. That's what Philly does. That's what we do. That's the difference. That's why it's different here.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy, Joe? It feels like every time when there's like an open practice or like a training camp or like even I can go back a ways. I mean, I think it was like 2013 when the Flyers had the lockout and they had a training camp before the season started, and just see like people like it was only just a practice and see the Flyers. I mean, that I hope for the Flyers will be like that, like how the Phillies are right now. I hope the Flyers will bring that relevancy like they bring back like the Phillies did too. But the thing that makes Philadelphia so great about the sports town is that they're passionate. They'll tell you how you feel, and also at the same time too, the Phillies and the Eagles. I mean, yeah, sure, the Flyers are in that same category, and then along with the Sixers, if they want to be a part of that same kind of category. But the thing with the Phillies though is that you want to go. If you go to Red October, if you're in October, you only know one thing around here in the Delaware Valley. It's Red October. I mean, it's kind of like a holiday. It's like a national holiday for Philadelphia, because every time when the calendar hits October, it only means one thing. It's Red October. That's why I say this is the best time of the year to be a Phillies sports fan, because it simply is going to mean.
And you got to remember the one thing to kind of put all this when we're doing the season recap.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fourth straight year that this team's going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. Hasn't happened since that 08 run.
That's true.
You know, and that's the difference, is that this team has not gotten done what that 08 team did, but they could, and they very well might do that this year.
Yeah. You know what's the craziest thing too, Joe? I would have thought the 2008 Shane Victorino Grand Slam would have been the easier, like the level of excitement for the Phillies, kind of like what Rhys Hoskins was in 2022. But I think it's going to be just as great as that 2008 team. But at the same time, too, it's going to have the crowd of the 2022 feel of that crowd too, because this is a team that's desperately, like, once Saturday comes around, everybody's going to be tuned in, and I'm really looking forward to every single minute of it.
And honestly, as beautiful as that Victorino home run was, I think the exertion of passion from the Hoskins home run puts it above the Victorino home run for me.
Right, exactly.
It was almost like when Hoskins did the bat spike and that home run, it was almost as though Philadelphia just took a big
like a dam broke open of emotion.
Right.
For not only Rhys and the Phillies, but the fans themselves. Like that whole wall just gave, and everything came out. The team exploded in that game. The city was highlight. I remember, like I was seeing posts on Facebook during that series, like people like a handful of blocks away from the stadium were getting like decibel warnings on their Apple Watches, telling them that if it's maintained at this level, you could end up with some hearing damage. Like,
yeah.
Like, believe me, I live blocks away from the stadium, Austin.
Yeah.
I live blocks away from the stadium. Believe me, I like the TV's on a 30-second delay, and I know that for a fact, because when I hear something going on, my wife was like, "What happened in the game?" I'm like, "I don't know yet. I don't know yet."
Well, it's funny because
right now.
There's a buddy of mine told me about that in the NFC Championship game. I think it was in 2017 when he went to the bathroom and he heard either like it was the Patrick Robinson pick or the flea flicker, and the crowd just like was crazy. I mean, it was actually not far away from the stadiums, and you can hear the crowd roar. He was like, "Oh my god, that's like really loud." And even there was actually a guy on like either social media, either on YouTube or on Facebook, like showed like he was actually a couple blocks from the stadium, and you actually can hear the crowd like jubilant after that World Series. I think it was like Game 3 of the World Series or the NLCS, and he went outside to see what that noise was, and they're singing on "Dancing on My Own," and he's like a few blocks away from the stadium. It's just like, wow. I mean, I'm probably not far. I can tell you right now, probably the last time. I mean, obviously, this will be the first time I realized Red October being a real factor here because I'm living down Darien Street now. But back when I was living down in Grace Ferry, I didn't hear it that much. But I'll probably hear it a lot more, like you said, Joe. You'll probably get decibel alerts, or like you said, Austin, decibel alerts on your on your phone, especially how loud it is going to be on a
Well,
Saturday afternoon
I
or Saturday
remember
whenever they play.
I remember watching the game, and I had my door closed, and I could still hear the roar, and
Yeah,
I'm like, what's going to happen? And it was Bedlam at the Bank. It was the home run by
right.
Harper. And I'm like, oh, that's going to happen. I'm like, okay, yeah, because that makes sense. It's
Right.
like, good grief. So you got to understand, like, that's going to be Saturday. Like, let's understand that all as a whole. That is going to be Saturday. And opposing pitchers, opposing hitters have to come into that stadium and go,
Uh
holy bleep. What the F
oh.
am I going to do here?
Spencer Strider's like was like an
Oh
example of
yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Just
Shoot.
looking around.
Yeah,
And
shoot.
like so was Josh Hader. Josh
Josh
Hader
Hader, yeah.
when he
Hader,
came in,
yeah.
he was like, wait, what in the world? Like what have
Who,
I walked into?
yeah, who was it that gave up the first pitch home run to Harper for the Astros? Was that McCullers?
Yeah.
McCullers, yeah, right.
The second he hit that and that crowd erupted, you could see on his face, he was like, oh no.
Yep. That was the moment where you're like, could I have that one back? Mulligan?
Yeah, like please.
Yeah, man, it actually gets me more excited now, especially for Red October coming up soon. Because I say this a lot with the Phillies. Obviously the Phillies are going to be are going to make sure that that place is going to be rocking. You're going to have have the rally towers everywhere. That's going to be the big thing too. The one thing I'm looking forward to seeing is that the Phillies have the lead in that first game. I wonder if like what the entrance is going to be like for Johan Duran to come in and tear. I mean, I can't even imagine what that'll be like. You know?
I like I said, I have a friend of mine that does the drones for Temple University,
Right.
and they are being contracted by the Phillies.
Right.
They've actually been contracted by the Eagles and the Phillies, but
Oh, cool.
the Phillies have this they have this contract, and my buddy, I was like, so can you give me a hint? He's like, no, because we still haven't really constructed the design, the performance yet. We have ideas, we have sketches, we just haven't put it together. And he's like, all I can really tell you is there's gonna be fire in the sky and maybe some spiders in the sky. And I'm like, wow, that might be
That's sick.
amazing.
That's gonna be sick, man.
And,
That's gonna be
and
so
so
cool.
so that's the thing is like when that music hits. I mean, me James, me and you talked about it
Oh my
when he
god, yeah.
first came. I was like, did you see that? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's the regular season, James. What's going to happen in Red October?
Yeah,
It's like
right.
the place is going to explode. Like that's the only logical thing to think is
Well,
that it's going to explode.
well, you know it better than I do. Like the restaurant pops, like when the crowd goes
Oh yeah,
crazy over Stone Cold or Brock
yeah,
Lesnar, it's gonna, or even like the Undertaker. I'm not even kidding you. Like every time when I hear that bell's ringing now, I always think of like the Undertaker coming out
yeah.
to the entrance. It's just, I mean, I can't help it, man. It's just, it's just so exciting. You know, it's just like, and then when I heard the first, I'll tell you this: the first time when I heard the bells, like the bell tolling, I was like, oh my god! I just said, wow, that's
Now,
insane.
here's a food for thought
What's
for
that?
everyone to think about. So, if the MLB has not come up with the schedule quite yet for Saturday because they have to get through the wild card.
Sure, yeah,
Now, here's the thing. I feel like the DS will either be like 3 or 6 o'clock, like a
yeah,
3 o'clock game and a 6 o'clock game. Um, during that Saturday. Do not make the Phillies the 6:00 game because people going out drinking all day, that ain't gonna help nobody either. Because that's just gonna lather up the whole crowd first.
I'll say this: 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon is probably the best way to go out, or maybe 4.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
but I mean, you're still gonna have all those tailgaters from like you thought Thursday night when the banner drop was bad. But wait till Saturday when everyone's gonna go down there, and I don't even know. I have not even checked the schedule to see if Temple's home that week.
I think they are going to bet.
Oh, geez. Like, that's just going to add to every chaos.
Well, actually, there's a thing on Facebook, actually, that said, I think it was, they actually put a schedule out. The Flyers were supposed to play the Devils at 6 o'clock that night. They moved it back until, like, 12:30, and I think they moved the Temple game until, like, 1 o'clock that same day.
Yeah, but you and we all know this. Does that really matter when it comes down to a tailgater being at FDR at 6 a.m. in the morning?
Not really. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's Flyers preseason and Temple being at the link. I mean, majority of them going to be are at CBP, partying their asses off, and celebrating.
I mean, you had
going
guys,
crazy. I mean,
you had guys camping out overnight in FDR for a Thursday night banner drop. you got guys that are going to be drunk in FDR Friday into Saturday morning, being like, "Let's go!" And now you're gonna that's why I'm saying, like, game 1 is going to be bananas.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be lit, man. It's gonna be really lit.
It's gonna be a great time.
So I'll ask you guys this question here. So this has actually been going better than I expected about, because I didn't expect much about what we're going to talk about today, but it's also just a preview of what the Phillies will look like in the 2025 postseason here. So we got I guess I would say not Jesus Luzardo. I would say he'll be the game 2 starter. I would be guessing that would be the case. So it's obvious that Christopher Sanchez will be on the helm, will be on the mound for game 1. If you're like the thing about it too, I don't think Sanchez was around in 2022.
No,
I don't think he was a part of that Phillies team. So if you're Rob Thompson right now, what would you be saying to Christopher Sanchez to get him more motivated for this game coming up on Saturday against either the Dodgers or the Reds coming up in this first game of the NLDS?
Well, I'd keep it simple, and I'd tell him, do what you do. Like, pitch like Christopher Sanchez. Forget about what's at stake and just pitch like you know how to pitch. Because it shouldn't be a different mentality. It should be the same mentality, because he's good enough to just go out there and do exactly what he's done for the other 20-plus games he's pitched this season. So for me, it's keep it simple. Like, make your pitches the way you know how to. This team, offensively, I honestly think they're going to do some really special things this postseason. And I'm not saying they're going to cover up for some mistakes Christopher Sanchez might have, but I still feel like if Christopher keeps it simple, he'll be just fine. Make sure that changeup's down.
Yeah, absolutely. Same question to you, Austin. What would you be saying, Christopher Sanchez, to get him motivated for this first game of the NLDS?
Honestly, I'd keep everything the same. The same way that you've been approaching him throughout the entire year, talking to him, pre-game, leading up to his starts and everything. Keep everything the same. Keep that routine the same. It's what's been keeping Christopher Sanchez in his best form. Just stick with that, because especially for pitching, it's a very mental game. So keeping that mindset the exact same way it's been all year is going to keep him as comfortable as possible, give him the best chance to be as effective as he can, and give the Phillies a really good chance to start off on a good foot in the NLDS.
Yeah, and you guys make a very good point here, and you guys say it best here too, because I think the one thing that I would say that Sanchez was doing, I think obviously like the first game of the postseason will give you jitters. Obviously, it's your first start, you're the game 1 starter. but nothing phases him. He's kind of like Jalen Hurts a little bit. Like he's just out there and just keeps the main thing basically without saying it. I mean, for me, I think it would be fine. I think it'll just do just fine. I think he's gonna have. Obviously, the crowd's gonna be by his side throughout the whole game, especially. But I will say this though. Ever since Sanchez became the starter for the Phillies, ever since Wheeler went down, he has become nothing short of spectacular. I thought he's been very, very good in games. Obviously, there was a couple games this season that he went like had a real good gem. I thought he had a real good pitching. I thought there was a couple games that almost there was like a game. I think it was either yesterday or not yesterday, but like a couple times he almost had a no hitter bid because of how steady he was in that game. And I think for me, if you like can just like zone that out and just pitch, you can win anything. I mean, that's the one thing I always there's a lot of things that could happen with this Phillies team and say, yeah, it's his first start, and I can understand he'll have a little bit of jitters, but look, I mean, it's just the same thing like we always say. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts for an example. Like that postseason came around and he became nothing short of amazing too. And I think the other thing too with Sanchez, and I think this is what be the same thing with Jesus Luzardo, and also with Walker Buehler and even Ranger Suarez, is that like they're gonna ask probably like Zach Wheeler. Like I can understand Christopher Sanchez can probably ask Zach Wheeler like, hey, obviously I'm the game one starter. Like what kind of advice would you give me to try to make me feel like I'm right at home with my pitches, and also I don't have to get ahead of myself at the same time too.
Here's the interesting thing. So they already said, because I think Wheeler already said it to Rob Thompson and the media, he will be in the dugout for Saturday and the postseason.
Sweet.
So you have to. He may not travel with the team, but he will definitely be here at home. One of the interesting things, and I had given some thought to this. When you have the meeting on the mound when Caleb Coughlin comes out, why not bring Zach Wheeler out there too? Like, why not have those two talk to Sanchez or Ranger or Luzardo and lock them in? Because let's face it, like Zach Wheeler, whether he's on the mound or not, is really an intelligent pitcher. And he knows how to attack guys far more than some of the, like Christopher's younger than Zach, Ranger's younger than Zach, Luzardo's younger than Zach. But when you have that experience, it feels as though you have this guy who's so seasoned like Zach Wheeler that it's almost kind of difficult to not pick his brain. But having someone like that in the dugout to kind of revitalize or re-encourage someone like those three guys, it's going to be beneficial. Yeah, but you also got to keep in mind, James, this is the runner-up to the Cy Young, Christopher Sanchez. This is the guy that if Paul Skeens didn't pitch like God for the better part of this season, Christopher Sanchez would be your Cy Young winner. Like, that's the difference. So that is a really good thing to have, considering you had Zach Wheeler on the team too. It's not like Zach did not exist this whole season. This is a guy who's the runner-up for the Cy Young, who was your number 2 for the vast majority of this season. Now he's your number 1, and I think Sanchez takes it very, very seriously to be in that pole position.
Yeah. The craziest thing too is that the one thing I love about Zach Wheeler too is that he kind of reminds me of Nick Foles. He's like has that veteran presence in that locker room. I mean, I'm not gonna try to make a big debate about it, but overall, it's just something about Zach Wheeler that I always appreciate is that even though he's not playing partially in the game like he used to have, but I will say this. I mean, obviously, it's going to be sad not to see him be in that for game. Not going to be pitching in game 1. I think the one thing that I really would love to see here, I know it's a little far-fetched here, but I would love to see a Roy Halladay performance on game 1 for Christopher Sanchez in the NLDS. Because, I mean, the way it looks is that I look at that motive. I mean, I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I looked at how he's been pitching. I'm saying to myself, one of these times he's going to pull Roy Halladay like off his shoulders. I think, I mean, and then you got the Cincinnati Reds taking on Cincinnati. It's kind of like deja vu for like first time in 15 years from that no hitter game. So it's kind of like, I mean, I can dream about sometimes realizing that pitchers can get a no hitter, but overall, just Sanchez has got it. I mean, Sanchez is just locked in. I mean, like I said, like once he has that ball and once he throws it to the catcher and he just has a spectacular game. I mean, I don't think nothing will phase him. I think that's the other thing too. If he doesn't get, I mean, God forbid he doesn't get a no hitter, but I like to see him get a shutout. I like to see a complete game because, I mean, I want to see him come out and just feed off the energy of that crowd, giving them all that level of excitement, like kind of like what Roy Halladay did in 2010. That same kind of feel again. Because I mean, it's one of those things that it's a little far fetched, but then you never know until somebody has a real good pitching performance. And also Sanchez, like you said, Cy Young candidate, and also the first time since Roy Halladay, and that's what I thought about. I was like, maybe he'll have a Roy Halladay performance more than anything.
That would be a very nice thing to have. But I
know I'm a conspiracy theorist once in a while, but I mean, it's just, I mean, I you know how much of a homer I am, so I just
you want Doc reincarnated. I understand that
exactly.
But I wanted to get to Austin. I'll start with you about this.
Sure.
With Dodgers Reds, series kicks off tomorrow night. I got to ask, is there a preference? I mean, right now, I just feel like either team, we can take either team. I think the Reds are a little bit of that. They could catch lightning in a bottle more so than the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers, you know what you're going to get, and all you have to do is go and stop it. Who do you prefer, Dodgers or Reds?
Honestly, with how up and down they've been, I would say the Dodgers over the Reds because the Reds have been too unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like they scratch and clawed their way into losing a game to end up in a tie-break scenario to make it into the playoffs. Now that they're playing with house money. Like you do not want that kind of mentality coming into you where you've put together such a good season to have it end on a team like that potentially, just catching that right time to be able to just pop off. I feel like the Dodgers, you know exactly what they're capable of. You know who you're going to see. You're going to end up seeing more than likely Yamamoto, Ohtani, and then probably Snell and Glasnow.
Yeah.
So you have good numbers against all those guys.
Ohtani
maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But you at least have three potential higher probabilities for wins there.
Yeah.
Where with Cincinnati, their game one starter is going to be Hunter Green, and he definitely dominated you guys when he was out on the mound against you last. And not only that, just the raw athleticism of guys up and down their batting order, from Ellie De La Cruz to guys like Tyler Stevenson, like Nick Lodolo on the mound. Like there are guys that are very effective and very capable of putting you into a very tough spot very quickly. That's not to say that the Dodgers are a slouch at all. Their team is riddled with top tier talent all over the place, and Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Shohei Ohtani. Like if you can weather that storm, you can weather any storm. And I feel like starting with your bar at Dodgers only ensures that you are more than prepared for anything the rest of the playoffs can throw at you.
Yeah, that's true.
Same question. Who do you prefer, Dodgers or the Reds?
Yeah, Joe, it's a great question, because there's two good teams on this team on this for me, I would rather go with the Dodgers, honestly, because I think we got the Dodgers number. Because you think about it, obviously, if obviously the thing with the Dodgers is that they have a really good pitching staff, like Austin alluded to here, but their bullpen is really shaky. I mean, that's the one thing I really look at is that if they get past the fifth inning and they get to the fifth or sixth inning with their bullpen, I think it's like laying day. The Phillies have the number right there Because you think about it, it happened before with Shohei Ohtani with the no hitter, and then once they got the bullpen in, and also they saw Blake Treinen, and then Treinen turns into Jonathan Broxton X. So
Yes.
I mean, it was kind of like, I mean, their bullpen's like really bad. Even Ricky Patalga brought it up a couple times before. He's like, yeah, their bullpen just stinks, you know. So for me, I gotta go with the. I mean, I would love to see the Reds, but at the same time, too, Terry Francona is a really good manager. But I hate to root against Tito because he's a really good manager. But I would love to. I would like we did back in 2022, like we beat off the World Series champs and the Braves. I want the same thing happening this time around with the LA Dodgers too.
So I'm kind of in the same boat with all of you guys, and one of the main reasons why I would rather have the Dodgers is for a lot of the points that both of you guys made. James, I want to knock off the World Series champs. You
As the
know,
one.
you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. So for me, it's you go through there, and then I will kind of harken back to what Austin said. Like if we beat the Dodgers, my feeling is that going forward, that gives a lot of momentum for the Phillies moving forward. Because if you're looking at the Cubs, the Brewers, whomever else, like I'm not scared of any Padres. Like I'm not scared of any of them
No,
in comparison to the Dodgers. And if it's the Brewers, we don't have home field in the CS, but if it's anybody but the Brewers, go ask the Padres how that worked out for them the last time. That didn't work out well for them the last
that's
time.
true.
And so go ask the Cubs what kind of noise they're going to be walking into. It's different than Wrigley. This is not, Wrigleyville, but it's as damn close to it as you possibly can. And like that's the difference. For me, I feel like the Dodgers are the team I want. The other part of this is the Cincinnati Reds have this young, athletic, very gritty, very hungry, talented team. And like Austin said, they're playing with house money. So they're not sometimes the most dangerous dog is the dog that's got nothing to lose. And so for me, I'm just like, no, I'd rather just let them go away and get overmatched by the Dodgers. And let's bear in mind, Austin, you brought up about Dodgers pitchers, but they got to go through the wild card, and this is the benefit of having a bye, because you get to set up your rotation, you get to set all the dominoes in your favor. Now that being said, the Reds aren't going to lay down for the Dodgers. The Dodgers have been up and down. They have to go and sustain being good in this wild card series. And even if they get through it and they scrape on by it, and they have to play all 3 games, that throws a big monkey wrench into the Dodgers' plans of how to set up their rotation coming into games 1 and 2 in Philadelphia. And that is going to make a difference. Going cross country, uh, dealing with less rest, and if God forbid there is a perspective where you are coming into Philadelphia less than your best, we are willing to take your heart and stomp on it because we are capable of doing it with this lineup. And James, I will take some. I texted with a buddy of ours today, Frank Finnegan, and I said, "There's a big difference in my feeling with Red October this year."
Hmm.
In 2022, Frank said that if we get to the World Series and we wind up facing the Astros,
Hmm.
or if we face certain teams, we don't have enough arms. Like the arm race is not in our favor in
Right.
2022. In 2025, I think the arm race is most certainly in our favor.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to be the linchpin because, like you said, James, if we play the Dodgers, we get to that bullpen, ain't
Mm-hmm.
good. If we
Yep.
play the Reds, we get to that bullpen, ain't good. Yeah, Austin, you brought up Hunter Green. That's one. That's one pitcher that this team can sometimes frustrate in a different environment like Red October, can frustrate good pitchers. Spencer Strider, James, you brought up earlier. He
Absolutely.
came in that series and was the strikeout king, according to all the commentary. He came in here and was shelled. And so I just say, let them grind it out, let them beat themselves to death, and then we will pick up the pieces from whomever it is. But I sure hope it's the Dodgers because I want to be able to take the crown off their head and put it on ours.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of This Week at Phillies Baseball. This was a wrap-up for all the postseason, getting us all ready for Red October. So I want to thank you guys, especially Joey Marks and Austin Hamill, for once again joining us like we always do. Austin, where can people see you next, my friend?
This upcoming Saturday on the Hardcore Play podcast, Art and I are going to be having special guest, my wife, for talk. We're going to be talking about and playing Crash Bandicoot. We're going to be playing through the Insane trilogy while we talk about that series. The PlayStation episode on Saturday was amazing.
I was going to ask you about that.
Haven't seen it, it is up on the Hardcore Play and Rewind YouTube channel at youtube.com/@hardcorePlayRewind. Aside from that, I actually probably about an hour before we started up today began my first what's known as a hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon Emerald. Basically every encounter that you run into, the first one in each area, that's the Pokemon that you catch. And then if a Pokemon runs out of HP, they are no longer usable. I had my first one die at the second gym leader, and it was a tragedy. So we're going to be diving back.
This is where I know I'm an old fogey, Austin. You just said a word. You just said a word that I'm still going to be puzzled from now until the end of the night. Nuzlocke?
Yeah, it's a very specific rule set for running through Pokemon, where the basis of it is when you go into an area where you can encounter wild Pokemon, the first one that you encounter in that area is the one that you have to catch. If you don't catch it, like if it dies, if it runs, if you run, you don't get an encounter, you don't get that Pokemon.
I thought
so
it was
you move on to another area.
I thought it was a Tinder reaction to furries. That's what I thought.
But and then from there, like in battle, you can normally like heal your Pokemon with potions and stuff as the battle goes. I am completely locked out of using items during battle. So it becomes a lot more of the mind game of, can I switch to a different Pokemon and take a little bit of damage compared to this one that would definitely get absolutely stomped if I leave it in.
You know, I'm going to suggest a game for you to check out.
Sure.
This is the original, not the remastered. But it was a PlayStation game called XCOM, UFO Defense.
Yes. Yeah, I played I think it was the first. I think I had access to XCOM 2 on Steam.
Yeah.
So I have played the XCOM series before. They are very good games. I do want to go back and play some of the originals though, because I've seen some gameplay of those and they look amazing.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, like, James, you want to talk about getting lost in a universe? Like, I got lost in that universe.
Oh my God.
At a young age, and my mom's over a dinner table. I'm like, yeah, my alien base is in Bangladesh. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'm like, forget it, Mom. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
Dude, I was a big StarCraft kid.
Yes.
Dude,
yeah, it's
consistent Zerg rushing, dude.
Oh shit.
Okay. I'm still getting over the Nuzlocke. Let's not go into the Zerg. Too much vernacular for me right now.
TMI, right?
Too much vernacular.
Right. Joey, what people can see you next, my brother?
Well, we are taking some time off with the Patterson Ave Sports Show in a week or two. We are going to prepare for Red October. Me and James are going to try to put out a Philly Fame Legends in the next couple days, maybe a week or so. about honoring Bernie Perrant. We lost Bernie Perrant not that long ago. So we're going to have an episode there. So stay tuned to our Hardcore Sports Network YouTube channel and Stream Punk Entertainment PA. If you want to follow me on Twitter /X, it's at Joe Wolf 112680. I put up a lot of new content now, considering I've been somehow suspended from Facebook.
Still going on? Is that shit still going on, man?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm tackling another universe. I'm
Yeah, I gotcha.
nuzlocking another universe. But yeah, I mean, you can check me out on Twitter. I'm putting up a lot of different interesting tweets.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to wrap us here today for this edition. We'll be back again, hopefully for Game 2 of the Phillies and whoever they're facing, and we'll preview that all coming up next week or so. We look forward to talking to you guys until then. So now for everyone behind the scenes and for everyone that made it work here, for Austin, for Joey, and for myself, I'm James Scores, and this has been This Week of Phillies Baseball. Go Phillies, ring the bell. Red October is finally here. Until then, we'll see you guys on the other side. Go